at 7:02, 18 June 2022. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we begin, I would like to remind everyone of the ground rules and for town hall meetings. Please note the fire exits. In case of any emergency, calmly and quickly walk to the exits. Do not run. Do not use the elevators. The restrooms are located to my right in the hallway. We will follow the order of agenda. The agenda is located on the table near the entrance. I would like to remind everyone of the ground rules for public input as outlined by the town code. The town board welcomes public input and reserves time at every meeting for this purpose. When it's your turn to speak, please step to the lectern, speak into the mic clearly, and give your name and address. The meetings are recorded and broadcast on social media, Facebook, YouTube, our website, and other platforms. It is important to speak into the mic so that the viewers at home may hear you. Each speaker has 3 minutes to address comments to the town board, staff, or department heads. It is up to the board to grant an extension if needed. All speakers must be respectful and conduct themselves appropriately. There is zero tolerance for personal attacks on town staff, town officials, or any member of the audience, or any person having a matter before the board. If a speaker does not meet these expectations, their time to speak will be immediately terminated. Please address all questions and comments to the town supervisor. Please understand that the public input period is not designed to be a discussion, and the board will not respond directly to anything stated. The town board exercises the right to invite guests to present information on subjects that we or the public at large need to learn about, to be informed of, and to get updates on, especially on particular subjects, programs, events, or areas of interest in an open public meeting. The town board will determine the time the speaker will present on a case-by-case basis. I will advise each speaker when their time is concluded. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Supervisor Evans.
Here.
Councilwoman Cunningham.
Here.
Councilman Malone.
Present.
Councilman Perticone.
Here.
Councilman Rayner.
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Here.
Okay, I'm going to do a quick pause right now. Excuse me, I'll call a quick pause, 5 minutes. To make everything go right, I picked up the wrong notes off my desk. On behalf of the public health, we launched an operation called iCool. In short, whenever the heat index nears or reaches 100, the library and the community center will be open for cooling and hydration. The library and the community center will be open to the public as a cooling center for relief from heat. Facilities will provide a designated space. Facilitators will provide a designated space for visitors to rest and get relief from the heat. Facilities may have extended hours as needed depending on the weather conditions. The splash park at Camp Eastman will be open and may have extended hours. iCool is in effect now through the summer. We also have been working on the heat index protocols to protect our team members as they support our town needs. Every Thursday we have a great farmers market. This week, our entertainment will be the Gay Men's Chorus. One of the things that make our town great is that we are a tree city. Next week, we will have an eco fair at the public market to discuss all things environmental, from gardening to sustainable resourcing. We had a great inaugural business development forum on June 13th. Thank you to the panelists, vendors, and business owners who attended. We look forward to our next forum in the fall to learn about resources for businesses existing and new. Irondequoit is open for business. Tomorrow is Juneteenth. The town hall is closed. However, the recreation center is open. However, we celebrated the Juneteenth this past weekend and had a great celebration. Thank you to the members of Erase, the vendors, and performers for a great day. Very exciting. We had a very exciting inaugural 5K. We have approximately 130 people signed up, and a very successful celebration on Town Hall campus with great food, music, and entertainment. June 19th, for those who don't know, is the day the final enslaved Africans and African descendants were freed, 3 years after the Emancipation Proclamation and 3 months after the conclusion of the Civil War, in Texas. It marks the day that all Americans became free, marking the beginning of the civil rights era that lasted for over 150 years. Americans fought and won the rights of freedom, from voting rights, housing, children's rights, and the right for women to vote. It all began on June 19th. Camp Eastman Splash Park is open. Parents are reminded to mind their children as there are construction in the area. The 4th of July celebration is coming up. We will kick off the 50th anniversary of the town of Irondequoit celebration with our beloved tradition of reading the Declaration on July 3rd at 10:30, followed by 5K and other events, and I won't steal the thunder from our recreation director. Speaking of the 4th, we are still accepting sponsorships for our event, from fireworks to also support the event. So please see Shannon, our recreation director. We have posted on social media pages the plans for Town Hall campus and Camp Eastman. Copies will be in Town Hall, the community center, and the library. Now, Madam Clerk, I think we have 2 proclamations. The town board is welcome to join me below. And the first proclamation is for honoring Pride Month, and the second proclamation will be for Juneteenth. Those here for Pride Month, please meet me down below. Is there anyone? This is kind of a special proclamation because Irondequoit is a welcoming community. And with that, whereas the first Pride marches were held on the first anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising on June 28, 1970, when thousands of LGBTQIA people gathered in Los Angeles and New York to demonstrate for equal rights. And whereas these events and the movement that followed were the direct results of decades of LGBTQIA activism and organizing, and whereas in June of 2000, President Bill Clinton officially designated June as Gay and Lesbian Pride Month, to be followed by President Barack Obama expanding the title to Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month in 2009. And whereas President Obama designated the Stonewall National Monument, a 7.7-acre plot around Stonewall Inn, to recognize the origin of the modern gay rights movement, and whereas in the ensuing years, Pride Month has spread across the globe, becoming a month of celebration and recognition of LGBTQIA community worldwide now. Therefore, I, Andre Evans, and the Ronnie Quad Town Board, in recognition of the event, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2024 as Pride Month. Thank you very much. Will members of your race please join me? And if you weren't there, you really missed a great time at the 5th Juneteenth. And your race have been great partners with the town, helping bring cultural awareness. As you know, from time to time, we post about different cultural holidays. And that's really to expand our understanding of other people. And I think that if you understand other people more, you're more likely to have peace in the society. So we'll continue posting about everyone always, as much as we can, because I think that's important to learn about other people. Please, join me here. Whereas at midnight on June 1st, 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation went into effect, effectively freeing all enslaved people in the Confederate States. And whereas at midnight on the morning of Union soldiers, many of whom were black, rode across the South through cities and plantations, reading the Emancipation Proclamation to those who were still enslaved. And whereas it took much longer for this news to reach some parts of the South, particularly Texas, the westernmost Confederate state, and whereas it was not until June 19th, 1865, when around 2,000 Union soldiers arrived in Galveston Bay to declare all enslaved people in the state of Texas, numbering over 250,000, to be freed. And whereas this day, June 19th, came to be known to the newly freed people in Texas as Juneteenth. Now, therefore, I, Andre Evans, and the Irondequoit Town Board, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2024 as Juneteenth. So declared.
Thank you. We are honored to have this opportunity and this recognition for our Juneteenth event. I am Sean. I'm the president of Erase. We're so thankful for the partnership with the town, and we look forward to continued partnership and support for the work that Erase is doing within our community. Thank you again.
We have a presentation from Chief Ken Stavelon of the St. Paul Fire District.
Thank you, and I promise to take them all with me when I'm done with the presentation here for you, so. Distinguished Board, first and foremost, thank you for considering St. Paul for this immensely important grant. Obviously, as you can see, it's something that means a lot to all our firefighters and would help our department immensely. Like many other businesses, organizations, and government agencies, the fire service has not been immune to the effect COVID has had on operations. Supply chain issues, extended lead times, and cost increases are just a few of the challenges we are facing. For example, the last fire engine we purchased in 2017 was $523,000. The same engine today is $1.1 million, in almost a 3-year lead time to get that truck. We switched manufacturers and actually ordered an engine for $900,000 to save $200,000 in apparatus costs. The price of protective firefighting gear has almost doubled in the past 5 years. The total cost to outfit a single firefighter is over $22,000 now. In addition to this, much like the town, healthcare expenses have grown steadily, retirement costs have grown steadily, along with the mandatory insurances that we must carry. So what can we do as a fire district to help offset these costs? These costs that no one could have predicted would increase to the levels that they have. A fire district only has one source of income. That income is fire taxes. We unfortunately don't get any other source of aid or income. The only thing we can do to offset the burden on our residents is to apply for grants for specific projects, both federally and locally. In the past 2 years, we have applied for and received 2 FEMA grants, one for new self-contained breathing apparatus, air packs, and a second for fire gear and dryer, and a new vehicle exhaust system for the firehouse to help with our cancer initiatives. These grants totaled in excess of $400,000. We consistently perform our due diligence to attain these grants and again to lessen the burden on our taxpayers. Unfortunately, with all the grant work that we have previously done, FEMA doesn't allow grants for cascade systems to individual fire departments. This leads to why I'm here today. And again, I cannot thank you enough for your consideration regarding this ARPA grant. Prior to COVID, we contracted with a company to refill and service our SCBAs or our air pack bottles. They would stop in a couple times a week or after a fire and fill the empty bottles that we may have. During COVID, they stopped providing this service and it's not returning. In addition to this, they were the only company in business providing this service. If received, this grant would be for a new SCBA cascade system, which would allow us to fill our own bottles in-house. This would have a huge positive impact on not only our operations, but our residents as well. Currently, we have to fill our bottles at the Rondequoit Ridge Culver Station. This places our trucks out of district and significantly increases our response times back to our own fire district. We're typically filling between 20 and 30 bottles weekly due to training, calls, etc. And it takes, on average, between 2 and 3 hours to fill these bottles. That's 2 to 3 hours our equipment is out of position weekly. Having this cascade system in-house would eliminate our delayed response times and further streamline our operations by allowing our trucks to stay in the district and place the equipment back in service faster. For example, a response from the Ridge Culver Station to the Westage at the harbor is 15 minutes. Obviously, this is problematic. In a business where minutes and even seconds count, we need to do everything we can to keep our trucks and personnel in the appropriate positions. This project is not a nice to have, it's a need to have for us. If we were to fund this project ourselves, it would represent a 2.5% tax increase to our residents alone. This is why I humbly sit before you today asking for this grant. In addition, if this grant is received, we would welcome all other Irondequoit departments to use our system when theirs goes down for maintenance or whenever they need it. Again, I cannot thank the board enough for allowing me to present tonight and for your consideration. As you know, I've put together some packets with some different specifics to what's going on in the fire service currently, but I'm more than happy to answer any and all questions that you might have for me at this time.
So this, to be clear, this is not just for St. Paul, but this is for all of Irondequoit.
Correct, it would be housed at St. Paul, but we would open it to any department that needed to use it.
But you said Ridge Culver already has this equipment.
They do have one, yep. And Seabreeze does not. Ridge Culver does, Point does. We do not, and Seabreeze does not.
I didn't see in here, and maybe the supervisor knows, but what is the amount you're asking for?
It's right around $135,000.
Is that equipment only, or is that, there's facility modifications necessary?
That's for everything.
We're taking care of obviously there needs to be electrical installed with that, we're taking it. That takes care of the equipment, their installation minus the electric, and the training on the unit itself.
There's already a location.
Looked out in our firehouse, yeah.
And again, this would be ARPA dollars, which were designed to support COVID losses.
Is there going to be a lead time for this equipment, or is it available, readily available?
Yeah,
to
no,
get it?
great question. So it's your typical 12 to 18 kind of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, but
All right.
it's a pretty large unit, obviously, to
Yeah,
fill these
sure,
bottles and
sure.
everything, so it takes some time, but that's what we're being told currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
What other alternates have you looked at besides just buying the equipment?
No, that's a great question. So really, there isn't any alternate now. I really wouldn't be standing before you, not to be flippant, honestly, if we hadn't explored those avenues. Like I said, unfortunately, we had a pretty good service that serviced these bottles quickly. But I can tell you in the month of March, we had 2 working fires back to back, and we basically used every single air bottle that we had. And now, after those fires, we have to send crews in the trucks, exhausted, over to another fire station out of district to spend 2 to 3 hours filling these bottles, because that's really the only option that we have at this time.
So you take a firefighting piece of equipment over to another station with the bottles on it in order
Correct.
to fill it?
Correct.
And how many firefighters are on in a particular shift?
There's 5 firefighters, including a boss, a battalion chief, and then if it's during the week, the chief.
And how many firefighters go to fill the bottles?
The whole crew, so they can all respond together.
So basically, you take the whole crew over there in case there's a fire call while you're filling the bottles?
We'll
and then
take the engine, and then usually the battalion chief and myself will cover while they're over filling bottles, but we're in fly cars and, SUVs, not the actual engines.
So this company's out of business now, correct, that you were using?
Yep.
So I'm assuming, I'm just asking for just information, I'm assuming all fire districts are in a bind like you are right now, I'm assuming,
They are.
right?
They are.
I mean, it's. this
Most fire districts have their own cascade system
Right.
at this point.
Okay.
And yeah, everyone's in the bind. There was about
Who doesn't have one, obviously?
4 or 5 departments that were using this service as well.
Okay.
That now have had to go and get these systems as well, because they were using the same,
Sure,
same
sure.
company. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Do you know if there's any, and I'm just throwing the question out there, you may not be able to answer, but I'm wondering if Seabreeze is considering putting a grant in too, because likewise, they would have to bring their staff equipment over
Yep.
to St. Paul. So I'm just
So-
wondering about that too.
Councilwoman, great question. So I've actually been in conversations with Seabreeze as well about using our equipment. They operate a little bit differently. Their volunteers respond in from home and get on the truck, but they also have a daytime manager who's able to take those bottles over. And we have, I've been in talks with them and told them they're more than welcome to use. We'll give them a fob to our firehouse and they can come in and fill our bottles as well.
Is there a maintenance on this piece of apparatus on an annual basis that you've considered?
Yep, there's an annual maintenance. It's around $2,500. Obviously, we will build that into our equipment budget. They come out and, in addition to the maintenance to make sure the equipment's okay, you send the air out for quality testing once a year as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Chief, thank you very much for the
Thank you
information.
very much. I'll get everyone out of your hair now. Thank you. I appreciate it.
We will start the public input. We have 4 people signed up to speak. The first person, forgive me if I destroy your name. The first person is Darlene Kohler. Darlene? Okay. The next person signed up to speak is Marcia Ngopi.
Never been to a meeting before, so good afternoon, and my name is Marcia, not
Marcia.
Okay, I am
Please state your address, please.
85 Veo Street.
Thanks.
I've lived in Arundecoin for over 20 years, since 2001. And we're having a problem on our street of illegal activities. Can't tell you exactly what it is, but I have a suspicion. And neighbors call the police several times. They come in for, I don't know what they do, service check, because nothing has been happening. And this has been going on since last year, but it's escalated since January to February. On the street, we have families Majority of the people are single, older people like my age. I don't know who's going to, when I pull up in my driveway at 9, 10 o'clock, who's going to come in from my backyard. I have a camera, and my camera goes off every 45 minutes. I can see people coming across the fence, that across. No, I've spoken to the police myself. Nothing happened. I'm here to ask, how do we get some answers? I'm not trying to put anybody in jail. I'm just trying to make our community safe. And for this, whatever help they need or whatever. We know certain activities is just a ticking time bomb. So that's okay.
Wait, are you, sir, are you signed up to speak?
Well,
1 second.
The
Why don't you
you
just,
can ask 'em. Come up in the end.
okay, you can come up. Please state your name and your address.
I'm Antoine Ragland. I live at 54 Vale Street. And at 77 Vale Street, we have a heroin addict that runs prostitution out of the home. We have prostitutes up and down the street. Heroin activity. I make coffee in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. I see her giving fellatio to a man for money. I do know an Arundecoit police officer I've been texting license plates to, and they come over, and there's nothing they can do because of this bail reform. But we have kids on this street, and I mean, every 20 minutes there's prostitution, there's drugs. Her son is one of the Kia boys, which he has like 4 warrants out. We call the cops, he's gone before they get there, and it's just frustrating. We have a lot of young kids on the street and, you know, older people, and these people are like hardened criminals. They're not just regular people, and we need some sort of help. We don't know what else to do, so.
All right. Any questions or comments? I'm sorry. Wrong form. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
one question, another question. How do we follow up with you or the board or whatever to see if something, because we really do need something to happen.
I'll be in contact with you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Can we just make sure that the second person that spoke signs in?
Yes, sir. The next person to speak is Mark Haldor. One second, sir.
Hi, my name is Mark Haldo. I live at 39 Schnackle Drive. I'm back again about the short-term rentals. As you know that, or I hope you know, there's a bill that already passed both the Assembly and the Senate in Albany, basically recognizing short-term rentals as hotels by charging them sales tax and occupancy tax. No regular long-term rental you charge any of these taxes for. So they are more toward hotels than they are toward homes or actual rental properties. One piece of the bill, Patricia Fay, the Assemblywoman, has been working on it for 7 years. She says it's a billion-dollar industry that does not help the residents at all, exacerbates the housing crisis, and displaces long-term residents, which it does. If you haven't followed any of this, they've had it on the news. We are easily 1,000 homes below where we need to be for sales, for people to actually buy to live in Rochester or Arundecoit or anything like that. Lake Placid just passed a law last year that the host has to live on the premises, and guests per house are limited for those areas. So as far as I'm concerned, if Albany is saying that these are hotels, they are hotels, and they're going to tax them as hotels, We already have on the books here in the town of Arundecoyt, no hotels, motels, or rooming houses. So you should be pretty easy to decide no on this and say no short-term rentals, like pretty much everywhere around us is doing the same thing. We have no idea what the town is doing. We have no paperwork, no anything saying what you're planning, what codes or anything you might try to do. Myself and or some of these other residents that have been complaining, we haven't been asked to look at any of these or put any of our input in on any of your ideas or codes that you might be thinking of. But we have been seeing, sending some emails and things like that. But like I said, as far as I'm concerned, if Albany is saying that they're hotels, they're hotels. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we need to call the public hearing at 7:35.
Okay. We'll have a public hearing. Madam Clerk, can you read the first item?
Item number 1, on the matter of granting a special use permit for 775 Titus Avenue in the mixed-use commercial district and referring same to the planning board for comment.
May I have a motion to adopt?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Sure. This is a public hearing for the special use permit for outdoor seating at the Arundecoyt Beer Company. This was referred to the planning board last week, and they already issued a report on that and a positive referral from the planning board. This is just the opportunity for any interested member of the public to speak and share their point of view before the town board takes action on the resolution.
Is anyone here to speak in favor of this resolution? Seeing none? All in favor? No. Seeing that no one's here to speak, may I have a motion to close?
Move it.
Second?
Second.
All in. Madam Clerk, read the resolution, please.
Special use permit for 775 Titus Avenue in the mixed-use commercial district and referring same to the planning board for comment.
May I have a motion to adopt?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
I have one question here. Anything over 30 needs a special use permit, correct? And the number of seating, is it 124? Is that what we're looking at?
Correct. It's mixed-use commercial.
And it's 124? Is that the number of seating we're looking at?
Yeah, Madam
Up
Secretary.
to 124, I'm assuming?
Madam Secretary, can you read the difference of a commercial versus mixed-use commercial?
I'm sorry, Mr. Supervisor, can you repeat that
Can you
question?
read, can you read the difference in seating between commercial and mixed-use commercial?
Special use, that's for seating. Outdoor seating usually requires a special use permit. This is in, I'll defer to the town attorney, but this is in regards to the settlement, mutual settlement agreement that he's here before the board for the special use permit for the outdoor seating.
Okay.
So I'm assuming there's been more than 30 seats. I don't know for how long.
Correct. I believe the application that was submitted with the supporting documentation, I believe it was 124 seats.
Well, no, the point I'm making
Capacity.
is he's probably had more than 30 seats. This didn't just come up. It's had more than 30 seats for,
But this is
I don't
one
know.
of the stipulations in regards to the
Right.
mutual settlement agreement, that he needs to apply for the special use permit for the 124 people.
correct. But if there's been more than 30 seats over the last couple of years, there should have been a special use permit prior to this. That's all I'm saying. That's the only question I had. Okay, thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments?
Looking at the drawings, looks like you're taking an opportunity to maybe make some improvements, remove the curb, so things like that. I think you can address the board.
Madam Attorney?
Just to tack on a little bit of what was already said, this is a part of the settlement agreement between the town and I Square that the town board considered the special use permit for this outdoor seating. I know part of the settlement agreement acknowledged the fact that there was seating currently out there. The property owner has submitted the application for the special use permit at this point, and now it's before the town board for its consideration.
Any other questions or comments?
Is the applicant allowed to address the board? Because if I have a question or comment,
Okay.
Good evening, Board. Mike Nolan from I Square offices at 500 Bakers Park. And yes, to answer your first question, Mr. Weiner, we are taking the opportunity to make some improvement. There's a curb line that goes down through it that separates what was formerly parking during the winter and seating during the summer model. And we're removing that curb so it'll all be one level and more accessible friendly. And the planning board has asked us to take additional measures with regard to the vehicular protection from the traffic lanes. So we'll be bolting some of the planters down and replacing 3 of the planters with pilasters that go down into the ground that when they're chained to the planters create some more firm barrier.
looks like that would be a nice improvement to that area.
I think so too.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you, Board.
May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Moved.
Second?
We need a vote for the public hearing before, we already closed it, so we
Oh,
just
sorry.
need for the resolution.
Sorry. Correction. We have a resolution.
We need a vote for the resolution.
I think we moved and seconded. All we need is a vote.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? The motion is adopted.
Was that for the prior resolution or this resolution?
It was a resolution.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, can you read the second public
On
hearing?
item number 2, on the matter of rezoning 41 Lorraine Drive, tax ID 076.15-6-45 from R1 Residential District to MUC Mixed Use Commercial District.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is on for a public hearing to discuss the rezoning of 41 Lorraine Drive. That also had a positive referral from the town's planning board last week. We're pending a report from the Monroe County Planning Board, which is why you see a resolution not to follow this public hearing. The hope is to have the resolution on for next month after hearing back from the Monroe County Planning Board. At this point, this public hearing is the opportunity for any interested party to speak about the rezoning of this property.
Any questions or comments? Is there anyone here to speak for or against this resolution? Seeing none, we have a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved.
Second,
Second.
the hearing is closed. And now we'll go back to, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? The hearing is closed. Now we go back to the public input. The next speaker to speak is Maria Nichetti. I think I just butchered your last name.
Maria Nikita, 57 Greenhaven Road. For those of you that were or are in the military, first, thanks for your service. Second, you may be familiar with 5 CFR 2635, or perhaps the Department of Defense's Employees Guide to the Standards of Conduct. Page 1 of the DoD's 2022 dated edition provides a list of do's and don'ts. A few examples include: do place loyalty to the Constitution, the laws, and ethical principles above private gain. Don't use public office for private gain, and don't take actions that give the appearance that they are illegal or unethical. In February, in a 4-1 vote, this board appointed an assessor. This individual's actions prior to appointment regarding the assessment process, the previous assessor, and her staff was downplayed by 3 members of this board, with 1 member on the fence but still voting in support. Only Councilman Perticone stood by his convictions. At last month's board meeting, a town resident, who is also a town employee, stepped forward to call out action by the new assessor. Between his February appointment and May, he lowered his own assessment. As background, a grievance was filed last year for this property, and the initial assessment was lowered. Not satisfied, the homeowner, as is his right, requested a SCAR hearing. But he lost this appeal, so no further changes were made to the assessment. Real property tax law states there are only a few instances where changes to the roll can be made outside of the normal process. And as far as I can tell, losing a SCAR hearing is not one of those instances. A changed assessment affects real property tax calculations, calculations that translate into how much tax is owed to the town, for example. Chapter 20 of the Town Code of the Town of Arundecoit is titled Ethics. Section 20-6, subsection A reads in part, no municipal officer or employee or local elected official or local officer or employee shall use his or her municipal position or official powers and duties to secure a financial or material benefit for himself or herself. As stated in my May 31st email to this board, an ethics investigation should be conducted immediately. Having previously served on the ethics committee for this town, an investigation such as this is not within the committee's purview, as it only deals with issues related to financial disclosure forms from electeds or appointed personnel.
30 seconds.
The committee includes the supervisor's chief of staff to remove any possible collusion or appearance of collusion or inappropriate influence, and to foster an atmosphere of transparency. It would behoove this board to allow an impartial, independent investigation by the town attorney. If this code's town of ethics has been violated, it appears it has, appropriate measures must be taken. It's been a month. This board's
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
silence speaks volumes. Thank you. I'd like this to go into the minutes.
We have no one else signed up for public comment. Madam Clerk, we have a couple items for board action.
We're on the financial
Sorry,
report.
correction. Madam Controller, read the financial report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The 2024 financial results for the town as of April 30th. 33.3%. 33.3% of the year has elapsed, and the town's total expenses are higher than budget at 39.8%. The equivalent expenses are $16,811,000 and break down in this manner. Encumbrances, $2,178,000 or 5.2%, and actual expenses, $14,633,000 or 34.6%. The general fund expenses are higher than budget at 44.3% or $11,864,000. The breakdown is actual expenditures, $10,971,000, and encumbrances, $893,000. Included in the actual expenditures are ARPA-funded projects of $2.6 million for the street lighting purchase, which was completed early 2024, and tree maintenance of $640,000. With the transition of the financial system, the amendments for these projects have not been recorded on the system, but will be reflected in the next financial report. Jointly, the expenses on the highway funds are $1,980,000, or 31.8% of budget, on par with the 33% of the year that has elapsed. Expenditures in the library are above budget at $1,061,000, or 37.1%. This is attributed to debt service, the annual bond principal and interest payments for the consolidated library were made during the month. The unfavorable impact of those line item expenses will level off by year end. The sewer fund expenses of $1,242,000 are below budget at 30.3%. Stormwater drainage is under budget as well at 18.2%, a total of $171,000. The general fund has received revenue of $15,316,000, or 57.6% of budget. At the end of April, the town has received $12,700,000, or 100% of real estate tax and 102% of payment in lieu of tax payments. The other major revenue sources, such as sales tax, mortgage tax, franchise cable fees, and per capita state aid, are not yet due. Regarding the entire town, $27,276,000, or 65.5% of revenue and appropriated fund balance have been recorded to date. Approximately $19.2 million of the amount received is real estate tax, 100% of that budget. At month end, the library has received $2,765,000, or 97.2% of its budgeted revenue. 78.7%, or $4,758,000, has been verified by the highway funds. $3,762,000 is in for the sewer fund at 97.9% of that fund's budget. And the stormwater drainage has received 100% of its budgeted revenue of $942,000. This concludes the financial report for the month of April 2024.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Clerk, we have some minutes to approve.
Approved.
Approval of minutes, May 13, 2024 workshop meeting.
Hey, 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry. We have to approve the finance. I'm sorry. Tonight's not my best night. Any questions or comments on the financial report?
The only thing I have, Diana, I know this is through the end of April. Have we got any sales tax to this date at all?
We did, and
Okay.
we received it, and
All right.
I don't have that amount.
Okay, that's okay. Just so we got it in May and we'll probably, okay. All right, good. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor of approving the financial report?
Motion.
Motion to adopt the financial report?
Moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor to approve the financial report, say aye.
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 All opposed? The motion is adopted. Madam Clerk, we have some minutes to approve.
Approval of May 13, 2024 workshop meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed?
I believe since I was absent, I have to vote nay.
Or abstain on it?
I don't believe our codes, rules, and regulations allow us to say abstain when due to an absence, only due to financial or other considerations related to financial concerns, so I have to vote nay.
Correct. 4 ayes, 1 nay. The motion is adopted. Madam Clerk, read the next minutes.
May 21st, 2024 regular town board meeting minutes.
May I have a motion to approve?
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
Any questions or comments or revisions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are approved.
Could I just point something out before we move too
Please.
much further? I mean, Councilman Malone was also absent from the workshop, and
So one, I'm sorry, I didn't hear your name. So,
Do you want to recall it?
okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
on the recall,
Okay, yeah, can we,
This is for the 13th.
maybe the clerk should recall.
Okay. Okay, recall, please.
May 13th, 2024 workshop meeting minutes.
I'll move it.
Second,
I'll second it.
any questions, comments, or revisions? Councilman Malone was absent. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
nay.
4 A, 1 nay. The motion is adopted.
2 nays.
2 nays,
2 nays.
3 yays.
Wait, 2 nays? Okay,
Myself and
2 nays. The motion is
Councilperson
adopted.
Malone.
Correction. All right. Madam Clerk, we have some resolutions for board action tonight. Can you please read the first item?
Item number 1 under appointments, authorizing the permanent appointment of a recreation leader in the Arundecoit Recreation Department.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Can I have an explanation?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Adam Mendez came to us in June of 2023, and I remember he said that he wanted to make a difference in his community. Fast forward a year later, and I would say he has met his mark as a rec leader with the Department of Recreation. Adam, affectionately known as Hobie, in and around the community center, jumped in head first. He's created relationships. He started programming on his own, and he was also successful in his first attempt at a civil service exam, making him reachable at this time. For those reasons and more, I am happy to offer my recommendation to bring Adam Hobie Mendez on as a full-time recreation leader with the Department of Recreation.
Any questions or comments? I do want to say that I'm honored to watch your work. I think everyone has a lot of respect for you. They respond to you, and I think you've contributed tremendously to the fabric of our town. So thanks so very much for being there. With that, I'll ask all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Stand up. Madam Clerk, please read the next item.
Item number 2, authorizing an amendment to the 2024 budget.
Motion to adopt.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
With that, can I have an explanation?
I have a note from the director, Mr. Lang, that it's the comptroller that's going to give the explanation.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution will authorize an amendment to the 2024 budget to allow for the acceptance of a grant that the town was awarded last year for the historic preservation. This would amend the revenue to accept the grant funding and also appropriate the expenditure as they are, I think the next resolution they'll be asking to use that.
All right, any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 3, authorizing an agreement for a townwide reconnaissance level historic resource survey.
Motion to adopt.
I'll move it.
Can I get a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is an authorization request to contract with a third party to perform a historical survey of the town in order to ensure we are recognizing many historical elements of the town of Arundecoit.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I'll just add a couple things that I was the town board liaison with the HPC regarding this RFP for townwide reconnaissance level historic resource service. I would, like to commend the people at the HPC of putting together a really well thought out and well put together RFP, of which we had many good respondents. We had a very good exchange. The interview process, of which we're putting forward to you, KTA Preservation Specialists, as the selected entity that'll be doing the townwide historic resource survey, and we think that this will be a very good solution for the town to start to establish what is historic within our town, not only structure-wise, but district-wise, and starting to establish basically the baseline for us to build upon for all of our preservation work and give us a lens that we can look through for future considerations. So I think this is a vital step. It's something we talked about for quite a while. The HPC also worked very hard to get the grant to help fund this. So, I think they've done a really great job to do this. And, both Chris Brandt, Mark Johns, Jennifer Aarons, the rest of the board were very instrumental in keeping this move forward.
Any other questions or comments?
I would just thank you for everyone involved, and Peter, thank you for representing the board.
I had the easy part.
Any other further questions, comments? With that, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 4, calling for a public hearing on a local law amending Chapter 136 of Town Code to conform with New York State DEC requirements.
May I have an explanation?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is a calling for a public hearing on a local law amending Chapter 136 of our Town Code to conform with New York State DEC requirements. This is a part of the changes required by FEMA and New York State DEC in order to comply with the changes to the floodplain legislation and update floodplain maps. The amendments to the code are written by New York State DEC and were previously updated in the same manner.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
There was no vote on this.
I'm sorry.
Is there a public hearing, right?
Oh. Motion to adopt the resolution.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, read the next item.
Item number 5, authorizing an agreement with ProWay Management for lead paint testing services related to the home improvement program.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution will authorize an agreement with ProWay Management to provide lead paint testing services for our Arundecoit Home Improvement Program. Lead testing is a requirement by HUD for improvements done to interiors of home on the grant program. Our prior contract has expired, so this will replace the contract. We did issue an RFP for these services. We received 3 responses. We had a committee of 4 that met, and this is a recommendation of the committee.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Just add and augment that I do think that, it's a good process, again, to fill a lapsed service that's required for the obligations. And ProWay did make a very good presentation and provided us the best value for the town.
With that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, read the next item.
Item number 6, authorizing an agreement with Arundecoit Ambulance for award and use of American Rescue Plan Act funding.
Motion to adopt.
Move.
Second.
I'll do second.
Can I have an explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would authorize an agreement with Arundecoit Ambulance to award ARPA funding to the ambulance for the purchase of chest compressors to provide better care for cardiac patients throughout the town.
Any questions or comments? With that,
I'm sorry, can I just ask a general question? How much of the ARPA funds are left for these kinds of grants?
Prior to any resolutions tonight, there is unallocated by the town board approximately $825,000.
any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, read the next item.
Item number 7, authorizing an agreement with Sunset House for award and use of American Rescue Plan Act funding.
Motion to adopt.
I'll move it.
Second.
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would authorize an agreement with the Sunset House, again, for an award of American Rescue Plan Act funding. This grant amount made to the Sunset House is requested at $100,000. This has been approved by Bonadio Group, as Sunset House has been able to demonstrate a loss of revenue and increased expenditures due to the pandemic.
Any questions or comments?
I have a comment. For this one and for the ambulance, I can't think of two better assets to our town and two better uses of the money of the ARPA funds for both these projects. And I want to thank the staff, everyone here. Thank you. You all work very hard, and I appreciate it, and I'm certainly sure the town appreciates too. Thank you very much for all you do. I get firsthand in the Sunset House. I was appointed to their board this January, and they're one heck of a group of people. Let me tell you, they work extremely hard, and I think they had the race this year. They had over 300 people, which is very good. It's a big crowd, so thank you. And I can't think of a better use of our funds than these two, the ambulance and Sunset House.
And I have to ditto that. I think you're the unsung heroes of our community, and I want to thank you for all the work that you do. I know it's not easy for both ambulance, being a former medic, and also Sunset House. So thank you very much for adding the needed motor to our community that we need. Thank you. With that, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Then the resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, read the next item.
Item number 8, authorizing the adoption of a progressive discipline policy.
Mr. Director, may I have an explanation? I'm sorry, motion to adopt?
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Director, may I have an explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I like to say if you're trying to get rid of a top-performing employee, the best way to do that is to ignore and let your low-performing employees carry on. This policy should help with that. HR has always guided our managers in the concepts of progressive discipline. That's just one tool to correct performance and behavior. This policy, this resolution that we propose, is just meant to codify that. So the goal here is just to enhance performance management while ensuring fair treatment of all of our employees.
Any questions or comments? I just want to say thank you very much for your work. We are reviewing some of the policies and filling some of the holes and gaps to make our employment stronger, while at the same time reaching out to find quality employees and to fill in the rest of the family. So thanks for your work on this. Any other questions or comments? With that, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, read the next item.
Item number 9, authorizing the attendance at the 34th Annual Colonial Henry F. Williams International Homicide Seminar.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Chief, may I have an explanation?
Yes, sir. This is for attendance at the homicide seminar put on yearly by the state police. We have one newly promoted investigator that has not attended this, and I would also like to send my operations captain, seeing as how he is new to the role, and obviously gaining a lot of the insight into what it takes for a lot of these special investigations.
Any questions or comments?
Yeah, Chief, could I ask, where's the location of this seminar and the duration? It's in Albany, and it's for 1 week. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 10, approving the special event license for the Heritage Hero Run and Stroll and Roll.
Madam Clerk, may I have an explanation? Sorry, motion to adopt?
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have an explanation?
So this is an annual event being held in Arundecoit since 2018. It's to benefit the Heritage Hero Christian Center. And all approvals have been submitted, or all insurances have been approved, and the departments have approved it as well.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 11, approving a special event license for the Arundecoit Little League end of the year celebration.
Motion to adopt?
Move.
Second?
I'll go second.
All, may I have an explanation?
So this is an end of the year celebration where they'll be blocking off just the parking lot of the baseball fields. Approvals have been submitted, and are still in process, but we're asking that you approve it. The insurance company does have everything they need.
Any questions or comments?
Who's going in the dunk tank?
Signing up?
You're going to spend your summer dunking, aren't you?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Between this and I Square.
Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. We do have an executive session tonight. Pursuant to Section 105F, the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation on matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. Can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? So we're moving to executive session. Staff, your release. There's a motion to come out of executive session. This concludes our regular town hall meeting. Our next workshop meeting is July 8th, 2024 at 4 p.m. And our next regular town board meeting is July 16th, 2024 at 7 p.m. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The meeting is adjourned.